the impact, you know, it's kind of what I was looking to do was basically create a place in my building where I was working with a group of people where we solved our problems, where student learning was right there in our lap, and that we had teachers who realized that they were going to be the people who led that. And we wanted to, my vision was to create this collaborative culture and this community of focusing on our learning and just having this school culture where teachers are asking each other for help, and teachers are in there getting help from each other, and they're the ones who are impacting student learning.
You know, after teaching so many years and I'm feeling so isolated for so many years because I was either the only teacher in kindergarten or in first grade or the only teacher, and it seemed like the high school and middle school kind of grouped together and the elementary was always left out because we just really didn't have the same concerns or anything. I think it's united our school in a way that I haven't ever seen before, because we've become a whole school instead of this part is here, the elementary does this kind of stuff. And I think it's made me feel a part of something.
Okay, well, I'm Cody McCanna. This is my second year teaching for Southwest Region School District at Kiliganek School. We have about 250 people in the community. We service about 65 kids, K-12, in our school. I have 5 certified teachers that work under me. So.
Okay, great. And then, do you want to tell us a little bit more about the school district, and then, if you could, then kind of talk about your improvement priorities for the 2009-2010 school year?
Well, we're really, you know, in Kiliganek, we did make AYP. The year before I got there, we didn't make AYP. We did make AYP, but that really wasn't a focus for us. In Southwest, it is kind of a focus because we have some schools that are level 5 and such. But we really were looking for, when I came in, being a second year, or my first year, I was really come in and thinking, you know, what do we need to do in this building to move forward and to get our students where they need to be? And so that's really was the focus around the work that I wanted to do in the building as a first-year person. But I had been there as a teacher for like 9 years before that, so I had a lot more perspective than someone just walking off the street might have had. So, so when I got looking at my improvement priority and what I really wanted to do, that all started with the vision in our building. And to get started, we wanted to set a clear vision and have a culture of collaboration focused around student learning, and that was our improvement priority. And so I was looking at how can I do that? How can that best be done in our situation? And sometimes we take steps back and realize, you know, what can we do in a rural community and really make it work? Because there's not a lot of things we can take off the shelf and say and put into place in rural Alaska. So with that in mind, that's kind of where we got with this emerging best practice from, is creating this professional learning environment and this professional learning community that could then be used for that.
Okay.
So.
Great. And then as you went through that whole process, what kind of research did you really examine to help you really formulate what you thought those best practices were going to look like and your expected outcome from that?
Well, it all started with, I had been a part of a professional learning community, and I will be honest, didn't leave a real great taste in my mouth, but I knew the possibility was still there. When I went to the Alaska Development Network and listening to Al Bertani and the way that he came across with how powerful they can be, and listening to him and going through his presentation made me want to know more, and thought I thought that was the tool. So what I did is I went to one of his webinars, and I spent time with him in a webinar, and then it became clear to me that this is what we need to do. And he gave me the knowledge through that webinar to really understand what professional learning communities are, how I could use them in my building, and where to get started. So that was my professional.
Now, were there any other resources that you felt maybe helped you reach that point, or that you could reach out to and look towards, or that really was the launching pad to let you go to the next piece?
That was a launching pad. His webinar was really powerful, but another aspect of that was my access to the AACP institutes and my principal coach, Dennis Dunn, and having someone who I could reflect my ideas on. This wasn't something that the district was doing. The district wasn't quite there yet. I approached them about maybe this would be something we'd all want to do, but it was kind of too big of an undertaking for the whole district to do. So being able to reflect and use my principal coach to reflect ideas off of was very powerful and very useful for me. So that was another resource that I used.